When working with Keynote on an iPad, there's two ways to begin. If you already have a file, either a Keynote or a PowerPoint file saved somewhere, like Dropbox or Google Drive, you can start there and open that one. So if I open Dropbox, you can see I have a PPTX file, which is the fairly recent version of a PowerPoint file. And I have it downloaded in Dropbox. So in the upper right hand corner, I'm going to click on the box with the arrow, and it's going to give me a few options for what I want to do with this file. I'm going to click on the open in the third row, and then I'm going to choose which app I want to use to open it. And your list of apps are going to depend on what apps you have on your iPad. So yours may look different if you don't have the same apps. I'm going to choose Open in Keynote, and it's going to automatically open up the Keynote app, and even though it's PowerPoint, it's going to convert it so that I can edit and use it in the Keynote app on my iPad. And it's going to give me a couple warnings because I don't have those fonts on my iPad. Those are going to be changed, so that's just an FYI for you. So I'm going to click Done, and then if I tap on my PowerPoint, it will open up, and everything should look very similar to what it did on the computer. Maybe not exactly the same. You can see my bullets are a little bit different, but I can go in and change those. It's done the bulk of the work for me. It's brought my pictures over, and any of those I can click and move around if I want. I'm gonna, in the upper left hand corner, I'm gonna click on Presentations to take me back to my main screen. And then I'm going to show you another way to start. If I click on the plus in the upper left hand corner, I can create a new presentation. If I have connected my iPad to a computer, I may have a file that I'm going to copy from iTunes, and we don't use the WebDAV server in our district, but you may, so that may be an option from you. I'm going to click on Create Presentation, and it's going to give me their themes that you have in iTunes, or in Keynote, excuse me, to choose from. I'm just going to choose, we'll do the gradient one. And at the top you can see I can choose between standard and wide. So now I have my title slide. Double tap to edit. Click on my title. And if I double click, I can select text. And you see I have a couple different options that come up. I cut, copy, paste, delete. If I want to highlight it, make a comment on it for my editing, I can also click on Style, and if I want to apply this style in other areas, I really haven't done anything to it, so there's not a need to, but that's an option that you have once you get it customized. The other thing I can do is, if you notice in the upper right hand corner, we have quite a few different tools. So if I click on the paintbrush, it's going to give me my choices for text, bold, italics, underlines, a lot of your formatting choices. It gives you your built-in paragraph styles there. If I click on the list button, I can create lists under there. I can also indent or move my text to the left if I've created a list. And then layout, if I want to add columns, line spacing, all of that is under there. The paintbrush is really important. The paintbrush does all your formatting, but all of these choices are different depending on what it is that you're adding or what it is that you have selected. So I'm going to click out of that, and I'm going to unselect my text. So I don't have anything selected right now, and I know I don't because my keyboard has disappeared. And if I click on that paintbrush again, it says I have nothing selected. So select the text box at the bottom and then choose the paintbrush. Notice now, because I have a text box selected, I get text box formatting options. So I have, if I want to make my background red, there are some style options within that style. So maybe I want to put a drop shadow behind it. Maybe I want to fold it out. I can add a reflection, can increase that reflection. And what's really nice is all of this is happening in real time, so you can see what it looks like on behind the scenes. I can change the border color. I can add a border if I want, change the color of the border. I have some color options. So I can choose the different colors of green if I want to make that border. If maybe I'm making a Christmas one. Fill color, again, you can change what that looks like also. And then under the text, again, I can change the text within that text box. And if I have multiple objects, I can arrange them so they're layered properly. And again, some of the same column and margin options that we had before. So I'm going to say that I'm done with this one, and I'm going to click on the plus in the bottom left-hand corner, and all of my slide choices pop up. Let's choose a picture one. Again, I double tap to edit, and I'm just going to type in my picture page, and I'm going to click on my formatting. And actually, you know what? I'm going to select my text first. Then I'm going to click on my formatting and go to style. And I'm going to choose a different font. And I'm going to choose a different color. And then I'm going to increase the size. So as I'm clicking on the up button, it's making my fonts bigger. Again, I have my list and layout we already mentioned. Now what I'm going to do is click on the picture, click on the plus, and it's going to pull up my camera roll, anything that I have on my iPad already. So let's grab this little sock puppet that I made in a different app. Again, I have that picture selected, so when I click on the paintbrush, I get my style options, and they change for me. More options there with the shadow, border if I want it, and all of that. The other thing that you can do is if you tap on it again, you notice that there is an animate button. So if I wanted to add a build to my picture or whatever object I have selected, I could click on build in, and let's do drift. And I'm going to click play just to see what it looks like. So that gives you the preview of your animation. If I want to do something different, let's try fireworks. Click play. So you can have fireworks as your puppet comes in, or you can choose any of the other ones. There are a few options. You can change the duration of it. If you want it to happen automatically after the transition, all of that stuff is built in here. And also order, if you had more than one things that were coming in, more than one objects that you've animated, you could rearrange those here. And because I haven't clicked out, now when I click anywhere else, it's going to ask me to do the build in. So I am going to click on effects, and let's do bouncy. We'll do all the crazy ones here. And options again, here because I've chosen a different build, I have a few more options. Let's see, delivery, how do I want it? If you have multiple lines of text, you could decide if you want everything to come in at once or by bullet. Then here's my order. I can move those around just by clicking and dragging. So now let's click done, and we're just going to play this one, see what it looks like. So there's all my fancy animations. The other thing you can do is if you want to add transitions, if you click on the slides along the left-hand side, you have your cut, copy, delete. If you want to skip it, you can do that. Click on transition, and it has your basic transitions that Apple provides. Just like with animations, it has the play button so you can preview it. It also has the options if you wanted to do it automatically, the duration, and all of that. I'm going to click done to get out of there. I'm going to add another slide. We'll just do a text slide. And I want to show you that to show you that if you click and hold, you can rearrange your slides just like that, just by clicking and dragging. Just to give you a quick tour of some of the other buttons. If I click on the plus, you have tables. If you want to insert a spreadsheet table, you can do that here. If you want to do charts, if you have a chart that you'd like to put in your in your slideshow, you can do that. You have a couple different options for the type of chart that you want. You have your shapes and text tools with a couple different color options there. If you wanted a picture or an image on a slide that didn't have the pre-built picture space, you can add a picture onto any page, which is nice. Actually, let's do this so that if you double click on a picture, this is just so that you know that you can zoom in on a certain object, and you can also change what the mask looks like for that picture, just as an FYI. So you can move that around and adjust that if necessary. On the wrench, there's another way to access your transition and builds. If you use presenter notes, you can click on presenter notes so that when you're presenting, these aren't shown to the people watching your presentation. They're just for you. So you can have those in, and if you import a PowerPoint or Keynote file from somewhere else, those presenter notes, if you already have some, will show up in the presenter notes here. Presentation tools, if you have links, if you want a soundtrack, if you are going to loop your presentation, so if this is just kind of a kiosk that you're having parents watch or just want it to play automatically, you can do that under presentation type. And allow remote control. There is an app called Keynote Remote that lets you use your iPhone or another iPad as a wireless remote. You can do that there. Under settings, you have a few different options that you can adjust. If you don't want guides, if you want guides, author name, if you want your author, or if you want your name listed as the author, you can do that there. You can set a password for your presentation. If you want to play, I'm going to skip the share button there for a minute. If you want to play your presentation, you can see second from the right, just to the left of the question mark in the upper right hand corner, is your box with the play button. This is the present button in Keynote. So when I click on it, it goes right into my presentation. And this is from the screen that or from the slide that I was on. So when I go to share, I have a couple different options. I have an iCloud option, which is great, but it doesn't give you very much storage space. I can send a copy, so if I wanted to email it to someone, I could do that, send it as a message. I could also use AirDrop, which is pretty handy if you have people that have similar devices. The iPad mini supports it. The newer iPads do, where it's just kind of a wireless drop between devices that are close to you. The other user has to accept. So this is a great way if you're having students create a Keynote file, they can just turn in their assignment that way. I don't have any devices near me to show that, but you could also message it to someone or email from that. You can also send it or open in another app. So if I wanted to put this back into Dropbox, I could decide, or if I want to send this to Dropbox, this one was a brand new one, I choose my format. If I want it to be a Keynote, I could send it as a PDF, or if I'm sharing it with people that do not have Keynote but have Microsoft Office, I could share it as a PowerPoint. Do that. And once it creates your presentation, it asks you to choose the app. And so I could choose, again, any of these that lets me store. I'm going to choose Dropbox. And it's going to take me to Dropbox on my computer. And it lets me change the title, name of the title if I want. I can choose a specific folder within Dropbox to save it. If you notice in the bottom left-hand corner, it also allows me to create a folder in Dropbox if I want to. I'm just going to save it to my generic Dropbox folder and click Save. And it shows me its progress, and then I'm done. So that is Keynote on the iPad.